There is one problem we encounter as our applications get bigger and bigger. Our GitHub project grows, more code is added, it becomes monolithic. That is, it becomes this one big monster that needs to make sure it's all working. All the parts are working so that it functions. This makes things harder to manage and monitor. At the same time, you need to make sure that this project not only works on your laptop, where you have a certain operating system, a certain version of your operating system, a certain version of Node, and many other things. Many other libraries that depend on each other and their versions. Most often, when people try and have their projects run on a different machine or computer, they encounter errors because just because it ran on one computer doesn't necessarily mean it will run on the other. This is what we call the environment that a piece of code runs on. We need a way for us to be able to run our programs and our apps in all the environments possible. And this is where containers come in. You see, many of today's web applications are built around the idea of containers. The nice small boxes that can be run anywhere. Instead of a giant monolithic application that does everything, companies like Amazon and Netflix have their products composed of multiple layers. These layers can be considered services. Each their own container doing its own thing and communicating with each other to make the whole system work. Kind of like this. This is a monolithic app, and this is more of a microservices architecture. You can think of them like our discussion about pure functions. We try and keep everything small so that we have a predictable function that takes an input and returns an output with hopefully no side effect. And don't worry, we're going to show you how to do this in the course. The idea of breaking down our app into small pieces was popularized by container services like Docker, which we're going to talk about. You see, with this type of system, there's a big problem. Each service or container may have its own requirements, from different Node versions to conflicting library dependencies. And when you add in the fact that every developer's machine and environment is different, it can be a challenge to onboard new developers quickly or run this service on another machine. Think about our previous section. How difficult was it setting up everything in the project, in the SmartBrain project? That wasn't very fun, was it? We had to make sure that we had Docker set up, then we had to run the database, then we also had to make sure that we have the right version of Node, run our Node server API. Now, imagine working at a company that hires a new developer every week and has an even bigger project. That's a lot of work for all these new developers to do. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just onboard developers and get our application running consistently and predictably with one simple command? Would it be nice to have everything set up for production so that when you release your code to any machine with whatever versions, that it works no matter what? And again, that's why we have Docker. Even if everything's dependent on each other and we need a certain type of environment, Docker takes care of making sure that it runs anywhere. And don't worry, these are all things we're going to try and understand throughout the next few sections. The first topic we're covering is this idea of Docker. Docker helps us create these containers around our services. Like I said, don't get scared. We're coming back to these points. As we go through each section, we'll start to build our idea around these services architecture. And this is a tough topic, but I promise it's going to make sense by the end of it all. All right, in the next video, let's take a closer look at Docker. Bye-bye.